Well, what is going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. I've got something from Off Grid Knives on the table. This is one of their rapid fire series. That is their assisted series. This is designed very much with fire and rescue, that kind of thing in mind. At least that's their target audience on their website. That means it ain't really me, but I thought we would take a look at this thing together. For them, it's a relatively budget-friendly knife. The knives are made in Taiwan. And this is, well, check it out. It's assisted, as I said. It is a Wharny, and a very, very sharp one. Very comfortable in hand. This one has a glass breaker on it. Again, think kind of fire and rescue orientation. This blade shape in particular is fantastic for cutting through material in an emergency, which I think was their very plan. It's got a nice drop down from the edge, very nice edge on that. It is 14C. Let's see. Oh my goodness. They say this is a tumbled DLC. I thought for sure it was just painted, but if that's DLC, then right on. And it's tumbled so that it doesn't show wear too fast. It is sculpted G10. It is very comfortable in hand, right? This is just a cool knife. Nice deep carry pocket clip that is totally reversible. It's a liner lock, and we're locked up on the liner at about 40%. Now, because it is assisted, right, it closes to about there, and then the assist kicks in, and you got to overcome that to close it. But it's not too bad. It does have a lanyard. Yeah, so that goes all the way through. It looks like it's in the, but you can get a lanyard underneath the clip. If you wanted to lanyard this thing, you could. It's got a glass breaker on it that's actually fairly nice. They sell a version without it, but when I bought this, and look, I've had a relationship with them for a long time. I have a link that I'll put in this video that if you buy a knife from it kicks back a little bit to the channel, but that's the extent of my relationship with them. They don't send me stuff. They used to, but I just haven't done that in a long time. But this thing, I don't know, for some reason it just caught my eye, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Now, they have one of these with a more traditional blade, and I know what it was about that one that caught my attention. A million years ago, ZT released the 0300, and this is by far one of my all-time favorite knives. This is titanium and G10. It's S30V blade, and it is assisted. It is a Ken Onion design, and the idea back then was that assist would help, particularly they were thinking police and military with this was their goal. It just makes for a persistent, consistent, and unfailing deployment. And I know that the folks at Off Grid, that's what they were thinking with their rapid fire series as well, right? It makes for an unfailing deployment. And I'll tell you, if you are trying to get a seatbelt off somebody in a hurry or cut something loose, and you go to flick open a traditional pocket knife, and there's anything in the way, a piece of clothing, anything, it's going to fail, right? And you're going to end up with a knife that's in that condition, which is not what you want. Assisted knives have a purpose. They're not in our modern age of, perfectly balanced, fancy materials running on bearings, right? They're not the same, but they serve a purpose, much like the old 300 here. The Rapid Fire series from Off Grid is the same idea. I think this is a well-made knife. I think that if you are looking for a daily user, this would probably serve you pretty well. Now, these are $59 for a decent size slice of 14C28. Looks like it's running on bearings and assisted. This is a neat knife. Now, they make, as I said, they make a version of this. Hang on, I'm going to make sure I get the name right. Okay, I have my laptop up and running. They make the Rapid Fire Ranger, which is a green version. They make something called the Coyote. They make a Wharncliffe, which is what I have. Let me see. So I have the Rapid Fire Rescue with Glass Breaker. They make a Stinger Blackout that's 89 bucks. I do like the Stinger. I am gonna order... Hang on a sec. I'm gonna order this one. What do you think? Yeah, I like the scale on that better than I do on the... All right, we'll do that later. I'm going to order that because I think that for 89 bucks, you can get yourself basically a version of this. It's liner lock, and these are impossible to find. And if you do, they're between $400 and $700 now on the used market. This is close enough that I want one. And I want one because as much as I love this, it is such a collector's item at this point. I am not carrying this thing around on the regular, but I would carry this, and I have. So let's get one with a blade shape that's a little more in line with what I do, because I'm not cutting people out of twisted up seatbelts, and see how I like it. Anyway, the Wharncliffe Rapid Fire Rescue is a solid choice from the folks over at Off Grid, and I think that there's a... I bumped the table a bunch, haven't I? I think there's a place for it, even in this sort of high-end and fancy and sort of judgy modern knife community. So I'm going to bring another version of this in and see what I think. In the meantime, let's take a look at what you get with the Rapid Fire Rescue. This video is all over the map. Sorry about that. You get 3 1/16 inches of cutting on, looks like about 3 1/4 inches of that 14C28N. The grip area from behind the flipper is coming in at 3 3/4 inches. The knife overall from tip to tail is just at 8 inches, which is a really nice carry, nice size. Closed length, we are coming in at just shy of 4 inches, so, sorry, 4 3/4 inches. I know how to count. Closed, it does eat up a fair amount of pocket, and it does have a fairly aggressive flipper on it, so we're looking at 1 3/4 inches. You're definitely going to know it's in your pocket, but dig that deep carry pocket clip. Nice spoon shape, good ramp, good spring. That's really nice. In order to get that on this, I had to put an aftermarket clip on. So they're ahead of the curve there. The glass breaker is removable. It's just threaded. I don't have a wrench handy, but you could take that off if you wanted to. You could just order the one without it. Action is irrelevant. And what I mean by that is that it works every single time. It is absolutely centered, which is very nice. Got a nice snap to it too, doesn't it? Let's do some size comparisons with tools you might be a little more familiar with than the ZTO 300. How about the Ritter Hogue, which is a stand-in for the full-size Griptilian. As you can see, the grip is a little bit longer. We'll stay with Hogue then. How about the Deca? You can see it is considerably larger than the Deca. The Rapid Fire Rescue here is a full-size knife. What else do I have on the table? I put most of my stuff away. Oh, this is a Normandy Knives full auto, out the front, box knife, which, I don't know, I just think it's cool, so I keep it around. And then a minute ago I had this out. This is the CMB Knives Devourer. I got one of these from Lefty in blue. I don't like blue knives. I can hear you out there already, and sorry, Zach, from Zach Stuff, that's his thing, but I wanted one in gray, and so I got one, and this thing is funky and really nice. Button lock, super good action. You can top flip it if you don't screw it up because you're on camera, and you can use the thumb studs, and of course, because of this fuller, you can just flick it all day long. This is a very, very cool knife. They're not that expensive. Maybe I'll do a follow-up review. Look at that. Anyway, or I could just throw it across the room. Anyway, here's the thing. If you are old, like I am, and always wanted one of these ZT-0300s, but you can't find them anymore, and if you can, they're ridiculously expensive. If you like this style of knife, if you're willing to get into assisted because it serves a purpose, the Rapid Fire Rescue and the various other off-grid rapid fires may very well be the cutting tool for you. I'm going to get another one in a different pattern so I can compare them. I don't know, man. I think this thing's fairly cool. I didn't think I was gonna. Honestly, I got it kind of on a lark. I bought a couple of the other knives recently and really dig what I got. But I said, I haven't bought an assisted knife on purpose in forever. So let's see how it goes. The Rapid Fire here weighs in at 7 ounces. It is hefty, but that's the spring assist. It's the steel liners. It's a full-size knife, so that's part of it. You get 3 millimeters of that 14C, which is, does I do that? Yeah, 3 millimeters. Not too bad. Off-grid is interesting. I've had, I don't know, what, 10, 12 off-grid knives at this point. I've got a couple of their fixed blades. They make fantastic, big old monster fixed blades. They're reasonably nice people, and by reasonably nice, I mean I don't hang out with them or anything, but my interactions with them have always been good. They obviously have an idea behind what they're doing, and they try to stick to it. They make cool knives. If you're interested, I'll post a link, as I said, specifically to this, but generally to the Off-Grid website, and I will put my affiliate link in the description. It would help out the channel, but I don't care. In fact, in the 6 years I've been doing this, that is the only affiliate link I've ever had. I don't chase stuff like that because I don't want to ever feel like I'm beholden to somebody else. But they didn't do that. They just went, here's an affiliate link. Put it in your videos. So I still use it. And you can too. But beyond that, why don't you guys head over to Off-Grid and check out their stuff. You may find something you like. The prices range from reasonable to, they make some very high-end stuff that's running into the $200 and $250 at this point. But for the most part, their stuff's right around $100. You can't go wrong. Their fixed blades are amazing. Big, monstrous thing. Anyway, go check them out. I really dig the Off-Grid Rapid Fire here. I think that and it's the Rapid Fire Rescue. I think in a world full of people who are all making the same titanium, whatever knives, that there's a company out there that's still making big, sort of chunky, interesting cutting tools, more purpose-built than just pocket-built. Makes me happy. So we're going to leave it there. This is the Off-Grid Knives Rapid Fire Rescue with Glassbreaker. I am a Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of wild and all over the map video. ADHD is a real thing. Sometimes it shows itself. But anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. And remember, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.